ready to hear some noise tonight. You're just seconds away from Let's Go Blues Radio.
No doubt about it, eh? You're listening to Kurt, Bill, and Jeff on Let's Go Blues Radio, the original St. Louis Blues hockey fan podcast. Take it away, boys.
Come on, St. Louis hockey fans, stand up and cheer. The Blues are back strong. This is our year. It's the Blues' turn now.
I'll write it and we'll do it live.
Yeah, it's the Blues' turn now. With that Al McKinnon slap shot, you know we can't lose. We are St. Louis, the home of the Blues. Come on, St. Louis. Let's go Blues. Come on, St. Louis. Come on, St. Louis.
Let's do that hockey.
Come on, St. Louis. All over the hockey universe, the note is the news. Everybody's digging on the St. Louis Blues.
Welcome to Season 7, Episode 48 of Let's Go Blues Radio. We're broadcasting live on Tuesday, May 14th, 2019. This is franchise episode number 181 all time. Your hosts tonight are yours truly, Kurt Price, Bill Day, and Jeff Ponder. And we will be with you for the next little while talking St. Louis Blues playoff hockey and their conference finals matchup versus the San Jose Sharks. To interact with us on social media, follow the show on Twitter at LGB Radio. Mine is at Kurt Price. Bill's is at Billy Blue Note, and Jeff's is at JPonder94. Also follow us on Instagram, like us on Facebook, and the website with the shop with shirts is letsgoblues.com. Gentlemen, how are you this evening? Good, I take it. I mean, it couldn't be better, really. I mean, considering all things considered.
All things considered, tonight is a great night.
It's a great night for talking to you fellers. I will say that after game one, I was a little concerned, but man, that game two sure turned that around for me.
You know, it's talking about game one. I wasn't even mad. It was. I mean, obviously I was, disappointed that they didn't win, but I wasn't mad or not even frustrated, or I was like, okay, lost a game, regroup, get him a game two. I really, honestly, it did not bother me as much as you would have thought.
That's the ultimate parent answer. I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed.
That was Berube's message to the club after the game.
No, I mean, I know what you mean by that. I mean,
if it was game five,
right,
maybe, but it was game one. I'm like,
game one, after a long, hard-fought series, San Jose is coming out on home ice. They're going to be amped up. Yep. And the Blues have been known for letdown games so far. So get it out of the way early.
And I think kind of so far in the playoffs, it's not uncommon for the Blues not to play a great game. Mm-hmm. And they've played a number of not great games, and they've won most of them. So
I wasn't upset either. I just said, you know what, I was expecting, what I'm hoping for is a split in San Jose, and I even said that on Twitter after game one that hey guys, come on, it's just one game, because Twitter was blowing up like it always does.
I hate that.
And somebody commented back, I don't remember who it was, said, yeah, but they just got dominated. I'm like, well, they were dominated in the Winnipeg series. They were dominated in the Dallas series. Like, it's happened before, and they've bounced back. And he said, but not like this.
No, bullshit.
I think you would have been saying the opposite after one of the Dallas games.
We got beat 6-3 by Winnipeg in game 3.
I was there. I could attest. We booed them off the ice. I was at the Dallas game where we booed them off the ice.
I'm so sick of the, and we talked about this last show, I'm so sick of the bipolarness of the sky is falling after game one. And somebody said going into game after game two, they said, oh, the Blues played great. The Blues got the job done in game two in what was pretty much a must-win game. Like, no, it was not a must-win game in game two. Yes, you don't want to lose both games in the opponent's building, but if you do, you're not when you start off on the road in the playoffs, you're never in trouble unless you lose a home game and you're down in the series. Losing both games on the road to start the series would not have been the worst thing in the world. Yeah, you're down 0-2, but you come back home and then you need to win both your home games. I mean, that's just the way it works. So then game 3 becomes more of a must win, but not.
Right.
Yeah, I hate that.
The only must-win games the Blues have played so far are Game 6 and 7 against Dallas.
Yeah.
Who says this? Okay, Game 2 is a must-win. Game 2 has never been a must-win in the history of anything ever in a 7-game series.
In hockey.
In hockey. Well, 7. Yeah. I mean, a 7-game series in any sport. Game 2 is going to be must-win. I mean,
any sport with a 7-game series.
Yeah. Right.
Is there a such thing as a 3-game series anywhere?
Well, no, I was going to say like Champions League football, soccer,
volleyball, three games in a match.
Yeah, but
okay, well there you go. Game 2 could be a must-win there.
Yeah, there are 2 legs in European soccer, and
but that's
right.
It is a must-win in Game 2 if it was the first one. Right. That's the whole definition of the. Okay, I just hate the overuse of the must-win. I can't stand that.
It is
every year.
It's
must-win game in Game 2. Oh, the hell it is.
I will say that the Asylum over at the Post-Dispatch website, they have been posting a lot. Is this game a must-win? Is Game 3 a must-win? And all those. And every time I'm like, God, are you kidding me? But then I realize it has been an ongoing joke there for years, and it's not really serious. So I'm like, hey, okay, well, at least it's good to see the Asylum does have some people with some sense of humors.
I guess. I just don't know why everything has to have a label.
Yeah.
Why you gotta label it? That makes sense.
I think we talked about it a little bit. Just the tendency to tweet every emotion. Like I've deleted, I've hardly tweeted at all because every time I pick up the phone to tweet something, it's like, this is just vitriol. I don't need to do this.
Well, in terms of us starting the show off and not fully getting into the hockey talk yet, I notice you guys are not growing out the playoff beards as I have. I will say this is
for like 3 months. Give me some fucking credit here.
You look good.
You know why I don't do a playoff beard? I can let it grow.
That's not stopping me.
It does. The fact whether I can grow it or not has nothing to do with it. I could just let it grow and just let it go, and that could be my playoff beard. But the reason why I don't is because it's this superstition in the NHL. You don't shave in the playoffs. You know what? That does not work for 7 of the 8 teams that are in the playoffs. It only works for 1 team. So it's not a thing that works. I'm not superstitious, or I'm not in that. And if I was superstitious, okay, I would probably grow one. But I'm not in that. I can't participate in the tradition because, like you said, I can't grow one.
Yeah. Well, that's why I don't. Well, thanks for instead of just agreeing that you can't grow one, you had to shit all over me. I appreciate that.
I can't grow one, but I would. I mean, if I was superstitious and I had that feeling where I would, oh my gosh, I got to do this. Well, like I do with some things.
So I grew mine out because I was just being lazy. It started in March, and obviously it doesn't really grow and get very full, but I was lazy, and then we got to the playoffs, and now I'm superstitious, and I'm not gonna shave it until out.
You know what my superstition is right now? It's I have that Thomas London Knights jersey that I have. I every time I've worn it this year, the Blues have won. Yeah. They have not lost playoffs, preseason, regular season, every time. So and I've won it 3 times in the playoffs, and they've won all 3 games. Now I'm not going to stop wearing it. That's the last 2 games. The last 2 games I've worn it, I've like, oh my gosh, I've realized they have not lost when I've worn this jersey.
Yeah, I've got a clown Pronger jersey that I only wear in elimination games, and obviously they've lost some, but I'd like to think their record is winning when I wear it. So I wore it both in Game 6 and Game 7 against Dallas, and so yeah, now it's like, well, anytime the Blues can be eliminated, I got to throw that jersey on. But speaking of wearing hockey jerseys in St. Louis in May, this is getting back to what I was getting ready to say about the playoff beard. I was reminded today why I don't have a beard usually this time of year. My God, I went out and ran this afternoon, and my face must have dropped about 15 pounds because that's where all the sweat was coming from. Oh, it was terrible.
Humidity's picking up.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh man. I got home and I got drenched in sweat. And I look at my wife and I'm like, oh man, this beard, it's killing me. And she's like, what, are you trying to say you want the Blues to lose? And I'm like, no, I hope that I continue to sweat my balls off in the St. Louis Heat, because that means that we're talking Blues playing in June.
Oh, I don't shave my balls during the playoffs. If we were there, I make a point not to shave those in the playoffs. That's my playoff beard.
All right, good transition.
Yay, yes, into the ball talk. So the official beers of episode 181. Oh, real quick. Mr. Blues Hat in the YouTube chat says, my beard sucks, but I'm growing one anyway. I look homeless.
I'm kind of in that same camp, although I don't know, mine's grown out enough. I get enough of the the mustache and chin. It's just right on the cheeks. That's but yeah, I've I don't know. I'm still not comfortable with it, but it's staying.
I'm okay. Well, okay, but and it's staying regardless until the Blues are done, at least.
So the Blues are done.
Okay.
Mr. Blues Hat saying that he looks homeless. I doubt that with that expensive fedora he wears every day.
That's a beret.
Beret. That's the word.
It's the exact opposite of a fedora. One. I mean, if he puts war paint on his face, he's a green beret.
Yeah.
So.
Blue
Sorry,
beret.
guys. I'm not a fancy Frenchman.
I call garages car holes. He does all these parodies of GIFs and videos and memes and things. He needs to do a Prince parody of the Prince's song Raspberry Beret. Has that been done? I'm not sure he's done that. Yes, with a blue beret. Yeah, surely he has.
We challenge you if you have not.
Yeah, let's see that tomorrow, noon.
High noon.
Have it ready for game time. The official beers of episode 181. You know what? Bill and I are drinking the same right now. Well, Bill is too.
Right.
But so, Jeff, you want to go first?
Sure. Alcoholic Bill. Excuse me. So I'm going this time with, I switched it up a little bit, but I've been trying to drink the same stuff because, again, superstition is a weird thing. So I've been drinking these throughout the show and as well as when the Blues are playing. Last week, I just had the Schlafly Pale Ale. The other one I'm having now is the Four Hands Brewing Company Single Speed. I know I've talked about this on the show before. It's brewed with jasmine, which I don't know what that means, but it's good. That's all I can tell you.
Good talk. Bill.
So my 1A beer, my Brian Elliott to my Jake Allen.
Wow.
My 1A beer tonight is Founders KBS, which usually is just something that you savor on very special occasions, but they flooded the market with it this year, and
now your fridge is flooded.
Yeah, I'm rolling in it, and you could never go wrong with this beer. So much coffee and chocolate and just barrel-aged goodness. I love it. And then my 1B, the beer that we are splitting from our good friends,
St. Nicholas Brewery. Beering.
St. Nicholas Beery. St. Nicholas Brewing Company, single batch series, Wee Heavy Scotch Ale. I'm liking it quite a bit.
Yeah, it's good, and it not only does it taste good, but the label is quite fetching. That's a nice looking label. You can see it up in the video there for the YouTube folks.
Keep reaching.
Yeah, I can't. Yeah. My arm's not 8 feet long.
I'll tweet a picture.
Okay, cool. Yeah, because I have not done that yet.
Everybody follow Bill now.
The St. Nicholas Brewing folks, they did this one pretty good, so I like it. Very nice. Well done, guys. In Des Moines, Illinois.
And gals.
Who's this? Ted Drews?
Ted, yeah. You know what? We had Tim Hortons on the show the one time. We need to have Ted Drews on the show.
God rest his soul.
His soul. Tim Horton. I thought you were saying Ted Drew. I'm like, he didn't die.
No, that's what I was thinking too. I was like, oh no.
I was like, what happened? That would have been on the news. Like for 3 days. Okay, round 3, conference finals versus the Sharks. Blues versus Sharks. The rally cry for San Jose coming into the series, or I guess in the playoffs so far, we've heard it this round. Win it for Joe. We're talking about Joe Thornton, which I whatever, but it's annoying to me. But it's and sickening for Blues fans, because I think every time people think of Joe Thornton, a lot of Blues fans, they think of the hit on Perron, that gave him a concussion a number of years ago. So he was out for missed 100 games. So I've the national guys, the NBC guys, have kind of picked up on it, and they're kind of talking about it. So it's like, I was like, you know what? If you're gonna go with a storyline, win it for Plager. That's a good storyline. He's only been in the organization the entire time they've been in their existence. He's had, he was original Blue, played for the Blues for 11 seasons, 7th all time in games played with 615. Worn a lot of hats. He was a scout, head coach for the Blues for a short time, head coach for the Blues minor league team, Peoria, community head coach of the year for Peoria. Community relations director, KMOX radio analyst, VP and director of player development, assistant to the GM, assistant to director of hockey operations. Not to mention being loved by the city of St. Louis and lives here.
You want to know more about the legacy of Bob Plager? Read any book written about the Blues. The one Rutherford came out with a couple of years ago, the Bernie Federico book that just came out last year. And then the 35th anniversary book. Every one of those, Bob Plager is a centerpiece of those books, because he is St. Louis Blues hockey.
Yeah.
And I'm with you. I think, man, that's a guy. I mean, yeah, maybe he's not a player. Maybe he's anymore. Maybe he's not technically part of management or coaching. But, man, you got to think he's the first off-ice guy that's going to get that cup.
His number was in the rafters for the longest time and wasn't retired. That's how much he's loved here. He didn't die tragically. That's not why his number was up there. It was a 5 with a heart around it, because the city loves him.
Right, because he is the embodiment of Blues hockey.
Exactly. And so with all due respect to those trumpeting winning for Joe, he's not the best story or the most deserving, whatever that means. If we're talking guys who have put in the most time and effort for what they mean to the city they're in, Bobby Plager blows Thornton out of the water. And I think that the NBC or anybody, the national broadcast, I think they missed the boat with that story. That's a cool story. Now, granted, nobody knows. A lot of people, fans nowadays, don't know who the hell he is. Other cities, everyone knows who Thornton is.
And I want to say Pierre LeBrun was kind of the first one to front the story.
Yeah.
Going into, I don't know if it was going into the playoffs or going into this round, but
I first read the story going to this round.
Yeah, the Canadian media, I think, is helping to drive this, just because he was such a dominant player coming out of junior, and everybody thought, he was going to have this long, illustrious career and push for points records, and he's been a solid player, probably a Hall of Famer when all is said and done. And and I think that a lot of the conversation might be driven by, he wins the Stanley Cup, he's a no doubt Hall of Famer.
Well, and he won it in 2016, or he had a chance to win it in 16. So I mean, it's not like he's always never been to the finals. He's had this long career. He had a chance 2 years ago, and
I mean, it's a fine story for the people of San Jose. I mean, we
were all, I get that. Yeah,
we were all on the Teal Town podcast last week, and they're even selling shirts that says "Win it for Jumbo." I mean, it's a great story for them. But yeah, for the national media to be picking up on this so much, I mean, not even. And listen, are you related to a Keith Price there, Mr. Kurt?
I am. Oh, there he is. 100%.
Yeah, he's right there in the YouTube
chat. So, the entire 50.
And that's, I mean, and let's face it, that's exactly what the storyline is here is, yeah, you have one team that you could say win it for Joe, and yeah, win it for San Jose because they've never won it either. But good Lord, St. Louis, 1967. This team hasn't even been to the finals since what, 71. I mean, come on. Like, the story here is win it for the team with the struggling fan base.
And a lot of people, San Jose and St. Louis, as far as the team goes, have had a ton of parallels. They've had some great teams, never really went anywhere except for San Jose in 16, went to the finals. But they had the same kind of deal. They were the frustrated fan base. They had some great teams. They never went anywhere. I get that. But you know what? We've been doing it for a whole hell of a lot longer. So we get it first. Thanks.
Yeah, that's the way I see it too.
Yeah.
Well, and
So-
go ahead, Bill.
I was going to say my last point on this conversation at this time is that they may have to win it for Joe with him watching from the press box after his game last night.
He looks so slow.
God.
I was going to say, I think it was last year. It was right before Kelly Chase announced he wasn't going to be broadcasting anymore. Tim McKernan had him on his show on his podcast, not on TMA. And McKernan went on a rant about that, about how he wishes the Blues would win it, and he hopes that Kelly Chase is a part of it because he is such a St. Louis guy now, and he's embraced the Blues. I mean, the Blues are his life since he's retired. Well, obviously when he played too. And so for the Blues to win it, there are so many stories like that. Kelly Chase, Bernie Federko. I mean, these guys have stuck around the organization hoping that one day they'll be able to see a Stanley Cup coming to St. Louis. So there's a lot of stories here that the media could be pushing with former Blues players.
I'm trying to listen to you, Jeff, while I watch the tail end of the but the Bruins beat the Hurricanes here.
Yeah, it's going to be a sweep. God damn it.
3-0 Bruins. They just we're on delay probably, but they just won.
God damn it.
Oh wow, I'm at 50 seconds left. Thanks, guys.
You're welcome.
This seems to be the story every week.
What are you watching the game on? What are you watching it through?
It's a streaming app that I use.
Oh, okay. So I'm using the NBC Sports app.
Hockey.ru?
No, it is not that.
Mr. Blues Hat says, why exactly? I assume that's referring to the beret, the parody of the Prince song Raspberry Beret, the blue beret that you sport. Anyway, bad joke. Doug in the YouTube chat says DirecTV. Yeah, we know, Doug. We know DirecTV is like the best for all sports. We get it. We know. We know. I used to have it. I loved it so much, and I moved, and it's a better deal for me here.
Yeah, it's so damn expensive.
It is. I mean, I bundled my stuff with Spectrum, so it was a lot cheaper for me.
I'm a cord cutter, so I love it. I couldn't be happier. Yeah, maybe sometimes I'm a little behind on the play, but it's worth it for the hundreds of dollars I save every year.
Mr. Blues Hat says, bad joke. Did it anyway. Yep.
Oh, nice. Yeah, he tweeted it.
Without bad jokes, you would not have reference to. Oh, there it is. Nice. Without bad jokes, you would not have reference to know what a good joke is. So you're welcome. That was deep. You like that?
That was deep thoughts by Jackie.
Game one, Sharks. Sharks win this one 6-3, with the 6-1 being an internet goal. Coming into the first two games in San Jose, the Blues, we talked about this, what Jeff mentioned. The Blues had the common mindset that every team has when they start a series on the road to get at least a split. That's what you always hear. It's true. You want to get a split, take home ice advantage away. That way, if you win one game in their building in the first two, then all you got to do is win your home games, and you won the series. Easier said than done with how the Blues have played at home, though.
Yep. I wanted to, unless you guys have comments on that, I wanted to talk about where I watched this game on a Saturday night.
Where did you watch this game on Saturday night, Jeff?
Oh, I'm glad you asked. I actually went to the Blues watch party out at Ballpark Village, and that was a lot of fun. They had some terrible names. Carly, is that her name?
Yeah, Carly Laughs is the that's her Twitter handle. What's
Twitter handle? Yeah. She was there. The guy in the blue jumpsuit with the horn, he was there. They had the whole crew was there. They were throwing away T-shirts. not thrown away. They were throwing out T-shirts. They were just standing over a trash can throwing T-shirts away.
Odd thing to do. Like, hey, we're throwing T-shirts away. There we go.
Oh, come on, we want those.
What T-shirt was it? I don't know.
No, they were throwing out T-shirts to everybody, and my wife actually caught one, and I caught one earlier this year at a game, and I remember it just it was a plain white T-shirt. I think it just said like it was some dental company, and it just said "Let's Go Blues" on it, which is fine. It's a free T-shirt. But this one, Bill, you would appreciate it. I should have worn it for the show. It was a Blues style soccer jersey. And it had the blue and yellow stripes, and it was actually a 2XL, but it fit me just fine, even though I typically wear an L.
It was a small 2XL, right?
It was a smaller 2XL. Either that or I put on a bunch of weights.
European 2XL.
Yeah, right.
I did that. No, I bought a soccer jersey when I was in Europe, and I didn't like. I the size no. Oh no. That thing was tiny.
Yeah, I've bought a couple of. Well, I've bought one and was gifted another that were both bought off of AliExpress and similar websites,
Right.
and the extra large came to like American medium, so those don't get worn.
Those are frame worthy.
Yeah,
from a frame.
Yeah.
Sorry, Jeff, you were saying.
Oh, I was saying, though, it was just the whole event that they had was awesome. So if you, especially on a weekend, I mean, for me, that's the reason we went, because it's hard for us to do it during the week, especially with having a 6-year-old at home. But yeah, if you ever can make it out to one of the watch parties the Blues are having, that was actually a great time. I mean, they lost, obviously. It was upsetting. But
you're giving away the show. We're going to tell people they lost eventually. Oh, great.
Oh, I know. Great. I gave it away. Oh, everybody, you can just tune out.
Game.
But no, it was great. So yeah, if you haven't been out to a Blues watch party for the playoffs, I recommend making it out there.
Keith in the YouTube chat says, when did you go to Europe? I went to Europe in 2005. Don't act like I'm lying. I was actually there.
I remember that.
I went with Chris. Remember, I went with Chris. Chris, Katie, Teresa, me all went. We're all divorced now. I blame the trip.
You guys are actually divorced and you remarried each other's partners, right?
No, that'd have been
and then divorced again.
Not yeah, right. That'd have been really weird. Jones stops 28-31 in the game, and at the time, and San Jose improved to 7-2 at home so far this postseason. Binnington stopped 19-24. Not a good stat line, but I personally, I mean, feel free to disagree. I don't think his stat line was indicative at all of how he played.
No, there was Art Lippo actually put a tweet out that it was who was it? I don't remember who it was. Somebody in the national media wrote a story. I think it was for Sportsnet. You guys probably saw it, talking about how Binnington isn't just like a one-hit wonder. He's not the next Andrew Hammond. And in the article, he wrote basically that Binnington had a horrendous game one. And I thought, nah. And Art Lippo said the same thing. Like, were you watching the same game? Like
it was Frank Saravalli.
That's somebody who was just maybe didn't watch the whole game and just looking at the box score, because the box score says, "Oh yeah, he had a bad game," but that's not the case.
Blues' defense was atrocious. One of the worst we've seen this entire playoff, and that's saying a lot.
Right. Not that Binnington, is a complete product of his defense. He's not. I honestly, clearly 100% believe that we have the better goalie in this series.
Oh yeah. And you know what's interesting, that and not to well, whatever, in Schwartz's goal in game 2, first goal they hit, that it wasn't a bad goal by any means for Jones to give up, but it was a goal where he came out challenged and he just got beat. And I mean, it was a goal that Jones is not going to stop. It's just, I mean, it was a good shot, but
where was Jones' glove?
Well, yeah, it was. Yeah, I get it. But I just saw, and he didn't even come close to stop it. Wasn't anywhere. It wasn't within a mile and a half of that goal, of that puck. So that's the Jones because he hasn't been, his numbers this series haven't been very good.
No.
So I mean,
he was really good in the games, after game 3 in the Vegas series,
right.
and he was really good in the Colorado
Yep.
series. But so far, he's pedestrian.
Yeah,
and
the Blues have, yeah, right. I agree.
And the Blues had like you said, a shitty defensive effort in game 1, and then they dominated defensively in game 2.
I'll run down the goals real quick here on the win on Binnington, and we can talk about them if you want. First goal, 2-on-1 after Pietrangelo gets knocked down at center. It was well executed 2-on-1. Edmonton, I didn't fully take the passing lane like he should have, and it was an easy pass for Nyquist to make to Couture for the one.
Was that the one where he was down on his knees?
Yeah.
Yes.
It looked like he was trying to do a standing fetal position.
He didn't. He basically
he
took himself out of the play. He didn't take the pass like he should have. He kind of went more towards the shooter and left the winger wide open for a one time. Right. It was a good pass, and they nailed it. So I mean, that was a bad. I didn't like the way Edmonton played that at all.
Right. No, and I'll be honest. I mean, you mentioned that he kind of went towards the shooter. If he fully commits and says, "I'm going to go to the guy with the puck," still not the right play to make on a 2-on-1, but at least he's doing something. Right. I feel like he just did everything incorrect on that play and gave Binnington zero chance to make a save.
Yeah, I didn't like Petro stepping up on that play, putting himself in a bad position to get knocked down, 2-on-1 back the other way. But yeah, Edmondson, like I feel his positioning was off the entire way, and he probably got to a point where he felt if he laid down, the puck would just go off of him into the net.
But he was too deep, right. And he didn't lay all the way down.
Right. Yep. He got stuck in between.
Yeah.
And like I said, looked kind of like he was trying to do the fetal position while standing up, and it just didn't work.
Yeah, let Binnington.
Yeah, I mean, the whole point of laying down is to take up more ice, and when you go down on your knees like that, you're not doing that.
The second goal, Binnington made a fantastic pad save, but Pavelski's amazing hand-eye coordination came into play as he batted the puck out of midair once and then twice.
Mm-hmm. God,
So and then the first save was amazing.
5-on-3.
Yeah, 5-on-3. And because it was a 5-on-3, he had time to to get shoot and then to get 2 bats out of midair without getting touched. So that was just you can't give them 5-on-3s. I mean, their power play in the playoffs has been about like the Blues. About the same. We talked about this in the show with the Sharks guys.
They had a slight advantage.
Yeah, 1%, 18.3 to like 17 point something. Yeah, so about the same. So LeBlanc's goal, the third goal for San Jose, was a high danger scoring area chance in the slot that went through some legs and in. Meyer's goal was a turnover the blue line by Parayko. Meyer comes in with speed, walks Bowmeister wide, and then does the one-handed drag against the grain move that makes. I don't care if it's a good move or not. The goalie always looks terrible on those plays.
Yeah.
So I mean that's one you'd like to see Binnington not fall for, but I mean whatever.
A lot of speed.
Yeah. And it was actually a really good move to pull off based on the angle he came in at.
Yeah.
Because Binnington's sliding over to to take away his speed, cut across. Meyer's second goal of the game was centered from behind the net and goes off Dunn's skate and behind Binnington, which at that point you're like, well, this game is not going to go our way. I mean, it wasn't already, but that was just icing on the cake. It's like, we're not.
We're not getting the bounces. No. Fluky goal goes in like that. Yeah. Just cut your losses. Come back for game 2.
And the only goal I would say he could have had was maybe LeBlanc's goal where he cut in the middle. That went through some legs, but it was a good shot. Certainly no softies. I don't think. That's weird to say. You allow 5 goals and the one empty netter, but. I'm not trying to be an apologist. I'm just trying to be a realist here about
the goal. You said high danger scoring area. It was through a screen, but I thought out of all of them, that was like the leakiest because it got through the arm and blocker.
Yeah,
or it beat the blocker.
Right. I don't think he saw it right away.
Right. I don't think he did either. But it's one that we've seen him save.
Right. No, I agree. And he's made saves. He made saves like that in game 2. He made a save like that.
And if that's the one goal that we can find possible fault for,
right? Yeah, it's interesting because that kind of play when they have that on ice camera that shows the shot go through legs, and you see it's labeled for far post, and see the blocker come out of nowhere and just stab at it, and it makes a save. It's like that's Binnington. That's what we were used to seeing from him, and he didn't pull it off that time. So
no, and we, that's kind of the point that I think a lot of people were making. We've said it on this show that when Jake Allen was struggling, you kind of want your goalie to step up and make a big save when the opportunity arises to kind of put the team on his back. Yeah, maybe Binnington didn't do that this game, but he did make some pretty good saves throughout the game. He really kind of kept the Blues in it, I thought, in the second period before things the wheels started to fall off. But it's just, you can't expect your goalie to come up big like that and all the time. We'll talk about game 2. I thought that was a great bounce back performance for him, which we'll get into in a minute. But for those people saying, well, you were saying you want Jake Allen to come up big in those games. Yeah, you want Binnington to come up big, but again, there wasn't a fluky goal fluky in terms of Binnington's fault. I thought that entire game.
The goal that Rask allowed tonight was a softer goal than any of the ones that Binnington allowed in game 1.
And Jesus, somebody better hurt Rask before the finals, because he's not giving up goals right now.
No, he's been good. Although to be fair,
to be fair,
just show the replay that one timer right to left that they put it back into him. I mean, he had half minute to shoot at, and they put it back into him as it came across. So that was a missed opportunity.
That was that.
I didn't say
Svechnikov.
I didn't see a shot at
somebody. Yeah, just bad.
But
bad shot making. In
game 1, turnovers and poor puck management combined with the Sharks burying their chances made for a rough game 1 for the Blues. Meyer, Couture, Nyquist combined for 8 points, 4 goals and 4 assists. And like I mentioned earlier, we lost 6-3 to Winnipeg in game 3, round 1, and look how that series turned out. So it is what it is. You learn from it, and you move on to game 2, and you be better. After this game, Bertuzzo said to the media, "I guarantee you we'll be the better team Monday."
Well, that's interesting you mentioned that, Kurt. Is there a reason for that?
It is, because we're going to talk about game 2.
Okay, well, all right.
It's called a segue.
It is called a segue, Jeff.
Yeah. And I was setting you up to further explain the segue, but it didn't work out.
Well, I was going to, but then you just kind of just spoiled it for everybody. Now, you don't have to. You ruin the segue by saying, "What a great segue."
Well, now you're really ruining the segue, but continue to talk about the segue.
I used to want a segue. They were like, remember $10,000 when it first came out?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They were super expensive.
And now I don't think they are. They're not a thing anymore.
Now they're nerdy.
No.
Now you just need a bird scooter.
Oh, those are cool.
Like Scott Oak.
Bird and
Scott Oak from CBC was he was on one of those, and David Perron tweeted a picture of it.
Really?
Yeah.
I was at the art museum today in St. Louis, and I saw a few scooters scooting around. I've been on them before in St. Louis. They're fun.
I used to work downtown, and I used to see them every now and then. Kind of cool.
You pay $1 and you get that's how you start it. You get $1 to use it, and then you pay per half mile or whatever it is. Blues were better in game 2. I think they still had some issues with turnovers and missing on the puck, but more than you like to see. But they did a much better job of recovering from those turnovers and mishandles. And Binnington chipped in with a number of big saves. So, and we get on the board first. Schwartz, first period, 2.5 minutes into the game, finds a soft spot in the Sharks D, and Tarasenko finds him, not by accident, like Milbury said on the air, because he on the replay they said, "Oh yeah, Tarasenko found him." Well, he found him by accident, or didn't mean to. I'm like, well, the fuck he did. He was passing to Schwartz, and Schwartz made a nice play, pulled it off his skate, and then picked a corner on Jones and scored.
Why the fuck is Mike Milbury doing in-game commentary?
Like,
why is he doing color commentary?
He gets games wrong. He gets names wrong. I was watching the highlights.
Every NBC
to refresh for the show, and
every NBC announcer does that.
He called Pietrangelo, Bowmeister, and it did a few times. Just got the wrong names on replays.
Yeah,
it just I
don't know. I don't understand the on accident comment at all. Like at first when he said it, I thought, okay, maybe I must not have seen something. But then I watched the replay again. I'm like, that's a pass. That's a great pass to Jaden Schwartz.
Maybe he thought he was like passing someone else, and it hit off the defender's skate and went to Schwartz, which didn't happen. It was a good play.
maybe
Heck of a shot from Schwartz too.
Play of the he definitely started this game very well. Skating, he back checking, he was great in the defensive zone, the shift immediately prior to the goal. Yeah, it was I thought he was playing very well. So fuck you, Milbear.
Mr. Blues Hat says, is it on the agenda to talk about the mouth pleasure that NBC is giving the Sharks? Yeah,
well, of course.
Well, of course we're going to talk about that. We can talk about it now if you want, since we're talking about Milbury. I thought, I've always been of the opinion that the announcers or the analysts hate my team thing is way overblown, hugely overblown, because you hear it from every team. If you go on social media, on forums, and you read the other teams, what they're saying about the game, they're saying the same damn things that Blues fans are saying about the broadcast crew, saying how much they want the Blues to win.
Right.
They're so anti-Sharks and they want the Blues to win this series. You can just it's obvious you can tell. And I'm like, well, nobody ever likes the broadcast team in any sport ever. So, but now with that said, I've had some issues with some things they've been saying just from being inaccurate. It's not so much that I think they're being biased necessarily. I just don't like the inaccuracies. I don't like the mispronunciations of names. That's something that bugs the shit out of me.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, if you're going to be calling a game, you have to know the names of the players. I mean, especially at this level, the fact that it's the third round, there's only 4 teams left. You're covering one series. It's your job to go to the media relations guy or go to the rink announcer and say, hey, how do I say this guy's name if you don't know? And they're obviously not doing that, or they're not listening. So yeah, I'm with you on that. The thing that bothered me, I'll admit, I'm with you, Kurt. I normally don't let this kind of thing bother me. I just, whatever. I did take offense to Pierre Maguire's comments after the game when he pulled Robert Bortuzzo aside, and it's people know the spot that he puts players in where it looks like he's basically giving them a hand job. Robert, big game-winning goal there. Not typically what you do. Are you fucking kidding me, dude? Like, to me, that's an insult. Now, I know Bortuzzo handled it professionally and probably didn't even think anything about it. Same thing with Kendall Coyne when he said the stuff to her. Probably just didn't even think about it in the moment.
Yeah.
But it's just, it's come on, man. Like, you're a commentator for the sport. Like, that's the most ridiculous thing to say to a player when he's done with a game, just had one of the best games of his career.
I know what he meant. I just think he just said it asinine-like. You know what I mean? Because I think everyone knows that Bortuzzo is not a goal scorer. This is his first playoff goal ever in Game 2, and it's the only other. His last playoff goal came for the Kitchener Rangers in 2007. So that's been a while.
Man, that I was 4 years old when that happened.
I was
you just got back from Rome.
I just 2 years back from Rome, yeah. Rome, Italy. Paris.
Married to your second wife.
Right. My future ex-wife.
Yep.
Okay, so second period starts, Blues up 1-0. Blues take a 2-0 lead. When Dunn's shot from up top gets through traffic and beats Jones blocker side, Blais helps out with a big screen in front of Jones. Blues 2-0. Things were looking pretty good. I don't think the Blues were, they hadn't had a lot of shots at this time. They had I think 7 shots at the time. That was their 7th shot, I think it was. So they were opportunistic in their chances. But to be honest, both teams didn't have a lot of shots in this game until later. The Sharks especially. I think midway through the third period, the Sharks had less than 20 shots for the game total.
I thought both teams looked sloppy mostly to open this game. It really wasn't until the latter stages of the game. Maybe even you could make the argument the second half of the second period. They just passes incomplete, turnovers. I mean, people are bitching about the Blues turning the puck over. The Sharks were turned over in the neutral zone a ton. I mean, this was just not a good game play to open the game.
I thought the Sharks had the better zone time than the Blues for the first half of the game, my first period at least. And I think they outshot the Blues in the first period by a couple, 1 or 2, something like that. But it wasn't a lot. It was like 7 to 8 or something like that. So, but yeah, I thought the Sharks were slightly outplaying the Blues, but the Blues were up 2-0. And then the Blues go on the power play.
And Pietrangelo happens.
On a phantom interference call, which it was right after Dunn's goal too, like 30 seconds after, something like that, where the Sorensen was called for interference on Edmondson.
And you just pulled an NBC Sports.
I corrected myself though.
Yes, because it was McGuire called Edmondson
You're really,
like 3 or 4 times in the third period.
McGuire would say Petra Edmondson. That's what he would.
Petro Edmondson.
Petro Edmondson. So I'm Blues fans felt lucky to be on the power play here. Okay, wow. If we got 3-0 and that third goal is on a power play that should not even happen, that's kind of cool as far as Blues fans go.
But that's just too much to ask.
Yeah, and then right off the bat in the power play, they win the face-off, and the puck goes to the point, and then
Pietrangelo just stick handles and then tries to pass against the grain blindly.
I don't know what he was doing. I mean, but he does that. That's what he does. And
that's why he shouldn't be on the power play.
No, and we've said this. We've talked about this on the show a lot. Parayko should be your number 1 power play blue liner. There's no, it's not a question. But Pietrangelo does that. He is the most up and down player. I think as far as like brain farts go or mistakes at the blue line, because he can make fantastic plays, but then he'll sprinkle in shitty plays like he just made in this game, and it was a bad one. And he sprinkles them in just enough to where you're like, what the fuck? What are you doing? You were supposed to be a Norris caliber defenseman a couple of years ago, and it's just not. He's good. He's good. He's good most of the time, but he does that kind of thing too much.
Boneheaded plays.
Right. Bonehead plays. And he knew it too. Broke a stick over the goal after the goal was scored. Went to the bench. He was pissed. And I'm like, good. Be pissed at yourself. That was stupid.
Yeah. Terrible play.
I texted with you guys during that and said he always seems to look for option number 2. Well, he's predictable.
Yeah, I don't even think it's an option 1-2 thing. I think it's like, okay, I'm going this way. I'm going to fake that way and then go that way.
Yeah. He telegraphs, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I don't think he has 2 options. I think he has 1 option in his head. He's going that way, but he's like, I'm gonna.
He doesn't sell it. Doesn't sell option 1 enough.
Handle the puck and then go that way. Go the other way. Like handle it.
I feel like he shows before, like if there's like a tic-tac-toe passing play on the power play, I feel like he really does give off his hand on where the puck's going to go after he touches it. Like if Tarasenko slides it back to the point, he's already got his body positioned to shoot it over at the other end, over to, Perron or whoever's there on the other point. And he's always telegraphing to where these players are able to pick up on and say, oh, hey, look, Petro's going to go across the grain here. And that's exactly what Couture did and burned him on it.
Jeff Erdman in the YouTube chat said the Pietrangelo almost took out Benner with that stick break. I noticed that. Yeah. He swung it against the left post and that blade went in the net. Like, you swing your stick against the post and that stick snaps off and goes flying 100 miles an hour. And Binnington was in the net.
That's why I never understand that about players. I mean, I've been mad. Just a couple weeks ago, I got really mad and I banged my stick on the boards. I've never done it over the goal just because of the off chance that you're going to hit a player, a goalie. Like, do it against the boards. What the hell? Do you have to do it over the crossbar? Well,
being a forward, I'm rarely around the goal, our own goal, when a goal is scored.
Yeah, you never crossed the red line, right?
No, I'm cherry picking across. Yeah, there's no 2-line offside pass in our league that we played in. But no, I was a big stick slam against the boards and glass guy. The glass a lot. I do that a lot.
Yeah,
and it made a nice sound.
Bill, were you a slam the goal stick over the crossbar kind of goalie?
Goalposts.
Goalposts.
Goalpost.
How many sticks have you broken in your day, you think? Ballpark.
I don't let's go over to my garage and count them. I still have most of them. I don't know, probably I don't know, 15, 20.
Wow.
And it was bad. It was bad.
That was all from 3 games.
The breakaway that when Pietrangelo tried to back check and catch up, he was right. He was a step behind him, half step. He was right there. He could have took a penalty. He could, and I'm not trying to be hindsight here. I thought this when it was happening. I'm like, we got a 2-0 lead. It wouldn't be the worst thing in the world to slash, stick it out of his hands, or whack him good so he's going to shut off. So okay, we lose the power play, still have the 2-goal lead. I was
right. Our power play is going so well,
right.
Decline the power
sure,
play,
right.
take the penalty.
But he makes a I don't know what he was doing. He kind of took a stick swing, a swipe at maybe trying to hit he didn't do anything really. Kind of took a swing with the stick and then peeled off of Couture, and then basically giving Couture the opportunity to make it. And then it was a weird backhand that went through Binnington's legs. Binnington looked weird on the save too. It was just he got pushed in the net a little bit or slid back in the net. It was an awkward goal. Pietrangelo looked stupid on it. Just the up at the blue line and all the way down the ice, and then at our goal, I thought Pietrangelo looked terrible on that play. The whole way up and on the ice.
Yeah, I mean it's yeah, you're right. I mean, at that point, every coach would tell you, just take the penalty. I mean, you're right. Like watching him, he's right on him almost the whole time. I mean, yeah, he peels off a little bit there, but he's on him the whole time. Hook him down, slash his hands, do whatever you have to do. Any coach will tell you, yeah, just take the penalty there.
Play the bot.
He did nothing.
Didn't play the bot. He had an opportunity to give him a whack and check him. He didn't do either. He didn't even play the body at all. I don't know what. I
mean, right as he's stealing that puck, first of all, you have to be aware that Logan Couture is on the ice. So right when he intercepts that pass, when he's at your blue line, take him down. You're not going to get a penalty shot there. You're just going to get a penalty. Just do it.
Let's see. Couture then scored 2 minutes later on a breakaway, 5-hole in Binnington after a turnover by the Blues at the Sharks blue line. Pietrangelo couldn't get back in time on that one either, and it was a 2-2 hockey game, just like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. Go ahead, Bill.
I was going to say, this was probably the cleanest I've seen Binnington beaten. I mean, just beaten straight up 5-hole.
Yep.
And it was a hell of a shot. Sure had all the speed, all the confidence in the world. Yeah, I don't think Tuukka Rask stops that.
That's something that I mean, we talked again. We mentioned on this show. People always saying you can't blame a goalie on a breakaway. When we used to complain about Jake Allen never making breakaway saves, yeah, you can. And I'm not saying I blame Binnington here, just like I never gave full blame to Allen on his breakaway chances. Breakaways shouldn't happen, but they do. That's a save Binnington needs to make. I think he was expecting a high shot. He was setting himself for a high shot. Left his 5-hole wide open. Bill, go ahead and comment and tell me that I'm wrong, but that's the way I read his body positioning.
Yeah, I'm not going to contradict you on Binnington. I think Binnington was expecting a different shot there, but to be fair, Jake Allen would have been on his belly before the shot even came.
That's true. Like, and then we'd be talking about why is he on his stomach?
Yeah, right.
But did you guys notice in this game though that the Sharks were trying to go 5-hole on him? They weren't trying to go high. For the most part, I mean, I saw a number of chances where they tried to go 5-hole. Because I think that they were trying something on him, and it worked in this case.
I feel like, I don't know. I noticed that too, and it kind of surprises me because he seems like a goalie from what I've seen in the last couple months that he's pretty solid in the 5-hole. I mean, are you guys seeing anything different?
Well, he's pretty solid. He's pretty solid everywhere, but right. His glove positioning and how he challenges, he takes a lot of high stuff away. Yeah. So I'm maybe that's what they were thinking, that they could beat him 5-hole. and they did. But
it's a long series. They're changing it up.
Sure. I just noticed it more than they when the opportunity and that play where Binnington, who was it? Binnington played it perfectly almost, where he just kind of stays compact, doesn't commit, follows the guy across the top of the crease, curls over to the post, and he's waiting, trying to wait Binnington out, doesn't do it, and he tries to go 5-hole again. And Binnington and Binnington stopped it. Great play by Binnington. Fantastic to stay with him.
Right. And I thought on that play, LeBanc had upper glove. Like
I did too.
If he pulls it back quick enough and just lets it go, he's got upper glove.
I did too. That's a tough shot to make though too.
But yeah, you're right. Yeah. He totally. I
mean, he would have had
watching it before the game, and or before the show, and he totally tried to go 5-hole there.
And if he were to have beaten Binnington upper glove, he would have to tuck it way upper glove. I mean, it was because he's at that angle where he's how close he is to Binnington and how his glove's out. He's got to go up really high. So that would have been tough. But I saw that too.
Real quick, I want to just get back to this goal real quick. And getting away from Binnington, talking about the actual team play. Now, it was easy to look at the play and say that's on Alex Pietrangelo again for letting Couture get that wide open. And yeah, you can definitely make that case. And he, again, and I said this on Twitter, he needs to be aware that Logan Couture is on the ice. I mean, you're the number one defenseman on this team. You need to have your head on a swivel when Couture's out there and never let him have that kind of space, no matter what, especially in a 2-1 lead. But I will add that that was just a poor breakout execution by the Blues. There was a little bit of, I think, a change going on. Jaden Schwartz got the puck and turned it over there. You got to get that puck deep. I mean, that's a situation where the Blues are obviously going to be rushing at least 4 in. It's a design play, a break-in like that. And again, I mean, I think Pietrangelo's probably thinking, okay, Schwartz is going to lift it in and go chase it down. There's going to be a line change. I think Bozak was going off. Just poor execution by the Blues all around, and that's what led Couture to having the breakaway. But again, I know everybody was blaming Pietrangelo, and it is partially his fault there, but altogether, just a poor effort from the Blues on that play.
13 goals for Couture in the playoffs now. So he leads the Schwartz is second with 9.
Yep.
So
yeah, he is the clear Conn Smythe favorite from the West, but Tuukka Rask.
Yeah. Well, I mean, how many times is the Conn Smythe winner awarded to a player from a team that loses in the conference finals?
I don't know that that's ever.
Has it?
It's rare.
It is rare.
It is rare because that the Conn Smythe is awarded to a losing player. I mean, it happens.
Glenn Hall,
Jaguar, Hall. Who was it? The last time the Devils won, or no, the last time when the Kings beat the Devils, didn't Brodeur get it? Somebody did. I don't know.
No, you're right. You might be right. That sounds familiar.
But somebody not advancing past the conference.
Right. No, I was making a joke that the Sharks aren't going to get past the conference finals.
And I picked up on that.
Okay.
I think it was 2000. I don't remember what year it was, but there was a year I remember Peter Forsberg was knocked out in the conference final, and his team, the Avalanche, and he still led the league in points after the Stanley Cup final. But yeah, nobody considered him for Conn Smythe. That'd be insane.
He probably got a voter too, but
Doug in the chat says 5 times in history that a player from the losing team has received the Conn Smythe. So,
but they had to get there.
They had to get the finals, right? And we're taking Doug at his word.
Right? Yeah, never do that.
This is the internet, so yeah.
I want to add real quick because again, I know that there was a lot of talk about Pietrangelo in this game. I don't know if a lot of people saw it, but a lot of people asking, and I know we're probably those people as well. Why not sit a guy who's not playing well, right? Yeah. Well, Berube kind of did in the third period, looking at his shifts.
Big 5-minute gap there.
Yeah, he had a huge gap. It was you look at his third period shifts. He did play a lot late, which is fine because I thought he played pretty well in the third. But he only played
Well, they said a minute and a half. Halfway through this third, he only played a minute and a half.
Yeah, he only had 2 shifts in the first 10 minutes.
Yeah, if you look at, so he had a shift at 3:54. I'm sorry, 3:59, and then he didn't have another shift again for 7:50. So that right there is 4.5 minutes ish. And then again at 8:51 was his next shift. So he only had, I think, 3 shifts going through the first 8 minutes of the third period. I mean, that's your number one defenseman usually gets a lot more than that.
Right. I think so NBC didn't point this out during the game. So, they're too busy flooding the Sharks. I'll go with the NBC hates our team narrative here. But they didn't point it out. I don't know. Maybe there's an equipment issue, but maybe Berube is just wanting to go with Bortuzzo, because I think Bortuzzo had 3 shifts during that span. I was looking at the shift chart website earlier, and Bortuzzo had not only did he have what turned out to be the game-winning goal, but that huge block shot.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
It passed back to Burns, and he lets it go, and Bortuzzo blocks it, and Binnington
that was fantastic. Up. That was fantastic. I remember standing, because I always stand during playoff games, and and a lot of regular season games. But
your kids yelled down in front.
No, well, yeah, sometimes, but I'm like, I'm in my spot. Don't mess with me. I'm in my spot. You move. You're on the couch. You can slide across the other side. But I was when that shot was taken, I was like, my butt clenched. I'm like, oh God, no. Because that looked like that was a prime scoring chance, and it looked like it may have had a good chance of going in. Granted, Binnington did react quite well to it, but who knows if he'd have got it. Bortuzzo happens in the second period. He's at the point. This was fantastic. This was a beautiful. I can't. It's amazing what the playoffs bring out in players sometimes, because this is just great. He's at the point. He dishes to Bozak, the puck to Bozak, who's coming towards the blue line, and then Bortuzzo gets away from Thornton, who Thornton is covering Bortuzzo at this point, which is, it's sad that Thornton couldn't stay with Bortuzzo, but but Bortuzzo finds a soft spot between the forwards and the defense, and Bozak gives the puck to Edmondson at the other point, who then finds Bortuzzo cut into the slot, connects with that pass, good pass, who makes a move, backhand, top shelf on Jones. Holy crap. That was a good shot at a perfect time.
Yeah. I mean, when you need a clutch goal from a defenseman, Bortuzzo's not the guy you're thinking is going to get it. He's been shooting the puck a lot more when he gets it, but that's his instinct there to understanding that Joe Thornton just had a very long shift and overexerted himself in the Blues defensive zone, knew he could beat him to the net, and took advantage of that. Maybe we're giving Bortuzzo too much credit, say he knew he could beat him to the net, but I think he did. It was a smart play.
If Edmondson had scored that goal, I've been like, okay. I mean, because he has some offensive instincts, and not a lot, but you've seen him pull a rabbit out of the hat more than a few times. He's got a shot, he can pick a corner. But to see Bortuzzo do it, it's like one of the last guys you'd expect that to pull off that move. Right. And Doug in the chat says, it made me feel so good how he burned Thornton. I'm like, yeah, me too. Because it was like, oh, it's extra good now that it was Thornton that he smoked.
Right. Did you see the thing? Who was Bo Bennett shared his text conversation with Bortuzzo?
I didn't put that. Did you see that, Jeff?
No, I didn't see it.
I didn't put that in the notes.
The total bro conversation.
It was a text conversation between Bo Bennett and Bortuzzo before the game, or it was the other day.
It was over the weekend.
Yeah, about Bortuzzo getting. He goes, "I know you're just going to get in the game. It's going to happen. You're going to score a big goal. I just know it." Yeah. And so Bennett called it.
Yeah,
it's fantastic.
Bortuzzo said, "I know what you mean. It's going to happen."
That's awesome. No, and you guys mentioned that. you don't expect Bortuzzo to be the guy to make that play at the blue line. I love seeing a guy like that get a goal like that. I mean, not only is it just some, back in the day, you see Tony Twist get a bad goal somehow, goes off a skate, whatever. And, jubilation fills the arena because it's like, oh my God, Tony Twist scored a goal. Not quite that. It's a little different because Bortuzzo definitely does have offensive instincts, but you don't expect him to make a play like that in a big moment like that. And I mean, let's face it. I know that Keith Jones was laughed about that he was saying, oh man, what a big goal for Robert Bortuzzo. Well, yeah, it was a game-winning goal. Yeah, it was a big goal. You're right. But I mean, let's face it. The timing of that goal was huge, and for it to be Bortuzzo, I mean, that's a guy that his teammates root for. They all want Bortuzzo to get the big goal. He's a locker room guy. They all love him. And to see a guy who doesn't score goals score a goal like that in a big game, at a big moment, that's going to give you so much momentum. It's going to carry the team. And, man, such a great moment in Blues hockey to remember that one.
I mentioned earlier that his the last game-winning playoff goal, or any playoff goal for Robert Bortuzzo, was scored on March 23rd, 2007 versus the Kitchener Rangers in a 4-3 win over the Sarnia Sting. And that info was courtesy of the @STL Blues History Twitter account, which we forgot to do the segment earlier in the show. I forgot. We'll do it at the end of the show.
Yeah. We're mixing it up a bit.
Yeah, right. Jeff went first in the Beer of the Week, and now we're doing the STL Blues history at the end of the show. I glanced over it, but probably because there was only one item on the agenda today in Blues history, because there's not a lot of stuff going on this time of year in Blues history.
Yeah. Might have traded for a draft pick.
Yeah, or signed a player, or not signed a player, but I don't know, had a garage sale.
Yeah.
I remember doing a show last year, and that was one of the things mentioned was this was the Blues garage sale day for like 2 years in a row.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then we talked about the block shot midway through the third period. Bertuzzo may have saved a goal on a nice setup that resulted in a one-timer from the slot. It was Burns, right? Was it Burns? You said it was Burns?
Burns or Carlson.
Okay.
One of the two big guns from the point. Pretty sure it was Burns.
I think the play was offsides. I think if they had scored, yeah. I think that they would have viewed it and they would have called that goal back, because I at the time a live happened. I'm like, ooh, that's offside. Yeah. It looked like it was offside. It could have been easy.
I recall.
Not easy, but it was close. I thought, oh, that's offside. And then I'm like, oh, and then they almost scored. I'm like, well, fuck. Well, and I went back and looked at it on the replay on the video afterwards, and the frame is missing. I slowed it down on the NHL.com video, and it goes frame by frame, and it doesn't get the point when the puck and the skate cross the line, but it looks like it was going to be offside, but it doesn't quite get that exact frame where they are. So I'm pretty sure it would have been offside.
They would have gone blue line.
Yeah, right.
And I was 100% sure that the Colorado Avalanche were offside in the last game of the year last year, and that was not the case. So either way, I'm glad Robert Bortuzzo did what he did.
True. Yes. You play to the whistle.
Mm-hmm.
You don't put your hand up and say it's offside. You keep going.
Oh, you play to the whistle. So when a goalie goes down, you're not supposed to shoot, right?
Oh, that's just bad sportsmanship when you shoot when a goalie's down, right?
You're right. You're right.
You never shoot when a goalie's down. My God, that would result in a goal.
Right.
Why would you want that? Why would you want to score a goal?
Alexander Steen and Jaden Schwartz are going to hell for what they did to Ben Bishop.
Josh Webster in the YouTube chat says the Celly by Bertuzzo was something you read about, which is basically just him screaming, which was awesome.
Yeah. That was a primal yell.
Yeah, it was.
Game Time has done a couple of pretty funny things with that today. That's about
there'll be memes.
Yeah, orgasm.
Oh yeah. I saw that.
Face, or I think Crosscheck Rays said it was either orgasm or when you find step on a Lego.
Yeah, barefoot step on a Lego. Barefoot Lego find.
Yep.
Josh Webster also said he put that top shelf where Mama hides the cookies.
That's one of my favorite I don't know, isms like that is from, I think it was NHL 04. They had one where if you shot at top shelf, every now and then the announcer would say, and he puts it in the top cupboard where Norman keeps his mother.
That's pretty good.
It was so weird, but because I didn't get it at first, and then I remember my dad heard it and was like,
Psycho reference?
Is he referencing Psycho?
He has to
I'm
be.
like,
Norman,
oh,
mother.
yeah, I guess he is.
What other reference is there? That's fine. With a few minutes to go in the game, the Blues have a 4-on-2, basically, after a poor decision by Justin Braun, who essentially takes himself out of the play when he skates right at the puck carrier, Pietrangelo, who made a nice play here by dishing it off to Steen and taking a hit, right? So Braun does this with only one other Shark player back, essentially creating a 3-on-1 for the Blues, Pietrangelo dishes to Steen, who then spins and passes to two Blues players who are all alone, Sundqvist and Barbashev in front. Sundqvist redirects the pass on his backhand up and over Jones. If you watch the replay here, Hurdle, who was not skating whatsoever. I would take umbrage with that if I'm San Jose's head coach, because if you watch him from the blue line all the way to the goal, Hurdle does not take a stride, and he's right behind Sundqvist. If he takes 2 strides, he's able to tie him up a little bit or hook a stick or something, so he can get. But he doesn't, and he just watches the whole time. And I'm like, wow.
I think it's
other teams are not defensively responsible in their own zone at times too.
Yeah,
that's what happens.
I think it's Sorensen. I could be wrong. There's another guy that comes in from the bottom frame.
Yeah,
he's not really skating either.
But his guy, he was. I mean, if the pass went to Barbashev, Barbashev had like a step ahead of Sundqvist. But yeah, I agree with you. I saw that too. But nobody was skating back. It was like they were just watching the play develop.
And I mean, Steen, one of his top 3 moments of the playoffs, drawing Vlasic away and throwing that pass back to the middle. I mean, Vlasic shut us down in 16, and he's definitely not playing at that level. But Steen, that's a hell of a pass. And
it is, yeah.
And again, Martin Jones,
doesn't
come up with a key save when he could have. That's his glove again.
Well, I would say it was probably a tough one for him to read because, I mean, is the puck going to Sundqvist or is it going over to Barbashev? He's like,
Yeah.
So maybe he thought it was going to Barbashev and he slid too far. I don't know. But either way.
You want to talk about an accidental pass like we saw with the Tarasenko pass. You might say the Steen one was a little accidental. Like maybe he's just saying, I know there's 2 guys there. I just got to get the puck there. But
isn't that half the plays though in hockey when you're?
Yeah, but I'm just saying for Milbury's commentary to say it was accidental.
Oh right, yeah, that's true.
But it's not. It's not an accidental play. It's a beautiful play, and Sundqvist is right where he needs to be. And like you said, I mean, Sundqvist doesn't get it. Barbashev's right there. And by the way, the other player skating back was LeBanc.
Okay,
yeah. Both LeBanc and Hurdle didn't do anything on that play.
I thought the defensive zone coverage by the Sharks on that play was atrocious. Just bad decision after bad decision on that rush, and the Blues took advantage of that and burned them, which we've seen other teams do that to the Blues in the past in the playoffs. So tit for tat, it happens to every team. Don't just think it happens to the Blues guys. That goal came at a great time as San Jose was probably just about to pull Jones within the next 30 seconds or so for an extra attacker. So if that goal doesn't happen, San Jose gets the extra attacker, maybe the next rush up the ice, and then who knows? And then we're all watching with clenched butts while the Blues have the 1-goal lead and their Sharks have the goalie pulled. That save Binnington made with his left arm at the side of the goal. With the 2-goal lead,
right? Well, the 2 saves,
right? But the pad save was
the redirect, right?
Meyer
got the redirect.
It was a mask save, yeah.
And then he throws himself open and makes himself huge, and gets the rebound. Beautiful.
And he didn't see the other shot that hit him in the arm. But the thing is, with goaltending, and I'm sure any goalie would agree that you play big. You try and play as big as you can for when you can see the puck and when you can't see the puck, Because if you're taking up as much net as possible and you can't see the puck, then obviously that's a better chance the puck's going to hit you. And that's exactly what happened. He played big. It was in the right position. He was positionally sound on that particular play. Call it lucky if you want. Others call it positionally sound. Puck hit him in the arm. Right?
Yeah. That's what you want out of your goalie.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, especially this time of year, you want your goalie to have the confidence just to make the right play. And he did. I mean, that's exactly what you need out of a guy, especially a guy with his frame. That's why it's always shocking to me to see these big goalies. They don't know where the puck's at, and they're crouched and they're on their knees and they're down and their shoulders are slumped. And it's like, man, you're a big guy. Just cover as much of the net as possible. And Binnington does that to a T.
The Sharks got a number of shots on Binnington in the last 5 to 6 minutes to bump their shot total up. Like I said earlier, they were under 20 shots for the game midway through the third period. So the Sharks went 15 plus minutes across the second and third period where the Blues held the Sharks without a shot. So that
is impressive on so many levels.
Reminiscent of Game 7 against the Stars.
Yeah, right.
And I think this is how the Blues advance, because right now they're not getting all the contributions offensively that they need, but being able to shut the other team down like that and just completely stifle them, that is so frustrating. And I think that is the key to us making out of the conference final. And the Blues,
and people are jumping all over the broadcast team saying that I'm not giving the Blues as much credit for this game as they may have deserved, but I thought their analysis was pretty good as far as, because they were talking about the Blues' mistakes and the Sharks not being able to capitalize on it. I thought they were pretty spot on the Blues making a number of mistakes this game. They didn't play a great game. They played much better in the first game, but they had a number of turnovers. The puck management wasn't great early on. We talked about them playing a sloppy game early on, especially. But I thought they did a much better job covering up their mistakes for the most part. And Binnington made a few really big saves, which I don't think the broadcast team touched on at all. They talked about the miscues and the mishandles. They didn't talk about the Blues, covering up and responsibly on their own end after the fact. Like a turnover didn't end up with a grade A scoring chance for the Sharks most of the time.
Well, and they also mentioned that, I think it was either Keith Jones, somebody said after the game that the Blues, stole that game or they got away with it or whatever way they worded it, lucky to get out of that with a win or whatever they said. And yeah, you can look at that game in a nutshell and say, yeah, the Sharks overall had some great pressure, had some great opportunities. Blues not as much, but when you factor in that this game is played more than just offense, it's played by defense. And, I know there's the old adage that defense wins championships, but I mean, yeah, you look at that stat you just said, the 15 plus minutes where they didn't even allow a shot to the Sharks offense, one of the best offenses in the entire league. And, and there was times where the Blues were hemmed in their own zone in there, and the Sharks never really got an opportunity to get the puck on net. That's sound defensive play, and that's what's going to win you games. And that's why it's honestly shocking to hear some of these NBC announcers not call attention to that, because they've been in the games. They know that sometimes a better defensive game, that's going to get you more wins than scoring 4 goals.
For the better part of the 15 minutes plus that the Blues held the Sharks shotless, the Sharks were trailing. So, and this was late in the game. This was, real late second period, early third period. So the Sharks should have been coming hard to try and tie this game. And they were. They're pushing, but the Blues kept them to the outside, blocked shot. They didn't let those shots get through. And even the one and the first shot that they got after the 15 plus minutes wasn't a great scoring chance. It was a easy save. So, I mean, that really, I don't think that should have been a bigger story of the game for the local broadcast guys. That should have been one of the things. The Blues won the game. Talk about why they won the game. don't necessarily harp too much on the fact that you think they may have stolen the game because they weren't outplayed dramatically in the game.
Well, we're getting the NBCSN breakdown from the studio guys right now of just how important Robert Bortuzzo was to this game.
Because they scored the game-winning goal, and
they're showing.
Sure, no. Oh yeah, their big hit we didn't talk about.
Right.
That was a
Oh yeah,
he's pushing the play. Like he set up the done goal by cutting to the middle, drawing Thornton again. God bless you, Jumbo Joe. Enjoy at least one of these games from the rafters.
They won't. They're not going to sit him. There's no way. They're winning it for Joe. They can't sit him. That would kill the entire win for Joe.
I'm okay with that.
Man,
this is muted now. I'd love to hear what they're saying because they're probably being a little more complimentary of the Blues tonight.
I don't know. That looked like a shitty grid that Jonesy just had.
Yeah.
It's I mentioned this to a couple people that we were talking to on Twitter about the shitty NBC Sports Network broadcasting. It's not even the bias that bothers me. It's the how do I word this? It's just the base level commentary that you get from these guys. There's no real breakdown. Fluff. Yeah. You get fluff from these guys. It's
level stuff analysis.
Yeah, it's very surface level. And so I'm lucky enough to have the ability to switch over to the Canadian broadcast. And I switched over in the second intermission, and they were breaking down plays, showing how the Sharks were able to get that goal because exactly what I mentioned before, that the Blues' breakout was bad, and they were able to turn it into a scoring opportunity, and all these great commentary that I'm just like, okay, this is the stuff that I want to hear more. I mean, yeah, a lot of it's stuff I know, but it's some of it might actually teach me something, even though I've been a student of the game since I was a kid. And then I switch back to NBC Sports, and it's just, oh yeah, here's Logan Couture. He's quick, eh? Yeah, he's quick. I mean, come on, like they appeal too much to the new fan. They need to realize that 99% of the people watching are people who watch the sport, and it's just hideous commentary.
I did like what they said about Binnington. Say what you will about the broadcast team, maybe if they don't give the Blues enough credit for this or that. Generally, they have been very complimentary of Binnington for the most part. I think they're kind of enamored by him too. But they did this after the game last night, and they did it just now. They broke down a number of times where Binnington was playing the puck and how well he played the puck and how it really thwarted the Sharks' forecheck efforts, which is true. He didn't allow San Jose to gain possession of the puck in deep when they dumped it in. He constantly cut it off, played the puck up the boards, around the corner, out of the zone. He cleared the zone himself one time all by himself. Then it was at this first game too, right? He cleared the puck all by himself out.
Yeah.
On the PK.
Yeah, and he actually
flipper out the middle.
After they pulled their goalie, he had a chance to shoot for the empty net too.
Right,
real brief window.
And Milbury was complimentary of him,
yeah,
saying, you could see he wanted to do it, but he
right.
had the
thought better and he covered
state
it up.
of mind not to do it.
Yeah. So I think they do enjoy watching Binnington. I get that from them, but yeah, the analysis of the in-game play and whatnot is just not. It really it's kind of what you hear on Bernie's show on radio. You ever what? I mean, I like Miklas enough. I know he annoys some people, and I get it, but when they talk hockey, it's all surface level. Just there's no in-depth analysis. It's just kind of like, I feel like I feel dumber listening to the show.
Now, Bernie's great for baseball.
No, and that's the thing, because right after they talk hockey, they'll talk baseball, and they get into it, man. They get in depth with the lineups and the averages and the matchups, and it's fantastic. It's really interesting. But then they talk hockey, and I'm like, there's none of that. It's all like, yeah, well, the Blues did a really good job at playing defense last night, and that's about it. It's flush and superficial. It really is, and that just comes from not knowing what you're looking for when you watch a game. So
Yeah. Probably hear them saying, I like watching hockey, but I can't follow the puck.
Don't watch the puck. Watch the players.
Right.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. I don't know how many conversations I've had like that around the office so far this year.
I hear a lot too. I can't find the puck. I'm like, don't look for the puck. I'm not looking for the puck.
When I lived in Dallas, that was the number one thing I heard from basketball fans. And I'm like, yeah, that's not what you should be looking for. Do you watch the basketball really when you're watching basketball? Not really.
No, you watch the players. Yeah, you watch the players. Watch where the players are going. That you know where the puck is.
Right. Most of the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, well, what do you think? Game 3, tomorrow night, 7:00.
I am. You know what? I'm kind of like in the mindset where I was before game 1. It's a little bit later in the series, but I'm like, I'm not anxious for some. I'm not anxious. I'm curious to see which Blues team is going to show up because you really don't know if it's going to be the good team, the great team that we've seen for about 3 games this playoffs, 3 or 4. I'm nervous about the way they play at home. If they lose tomorrow, I'm not going to be pissed off necessarily, unless they lose in a way that pisses me off. Yeah. But it could, because then again, you win at home, then game 4, then you're okay again. So yeah, I'm not going to be a bipolar fan this series. I can tell until it gets late, and then I'll be like, oh my God, game 5, 6, 7. Then we're like, holy shit. But yeah, game 3, I'm still 1-1 series. I like their chances. I mean, we're at home. It'll be interesting to see how San Jose rebounds from losing that game, because they didn't get the job done at home. So losing home advantage, we'll see how they come out.
Josh Webster here has Keith Price too. They're making some predictions here in the
I saw that
chat that I don't really want to read out loud.
It's not game. It's not during the game, so you can say it.
Okay, I'm just gonna say he doesn't think Jordan Binnington will allow any goals tomorrow night.
So as long as Binnington's not listening to this, it's okay. Again, this is one of those superstitions that I think it applies only to the team, and it's one of those things that goes back to, like, you don't make a goalie aware that he's pitching a shutout
right
in the middle of pitching a shutout. So you just don't talk about it at all when you're on the team. It doesn't extend to commentators and fans. And John Kelly, I think, gets that because he trolls people quite often.
I know. I think it bothers Pang though.
Oh, it totally does.
Oh, it bothers Pang. Yeah.
I don't like saying it because what's really funny is that in the first round against Winnipeg, Hellebuck had a shutout going, and I turned to my daughter, who's 9 years old, and I said, boy, Hellebuck's got a shutout going. And she looks at me and is like, what's shutout? What's that mean? Shutout. And I forget that sometimes terms are lost on kids. They don't know what they mean yet. So I explained it to her. I'm like, why'd you say that? Why do you keep saying that? And I said, because when you say it out loud, then it jinxes them, and they're more inclined to allow a goal. And so she starts saying it. And then I kid you not, 30 seconds later, we scored. Nice. And she looked at me. I'm like, see, it works. And then she wouldn't shut up the rest of every game. It's like, shut up. So,
I remember one time I was playing in high school, and there was the other goalie who had a shutout going against us with about 30 seconds left. And I skated by him, and that's always the other team does it all the time, especially maybe at that age. I skate by the goalie and I just go, hey, pretty good shutout so far. And he just shot me this death glare. And then, not 10 seconds later, my guy takes this wrist shot from the point, beats him clean, nobody in front. And I just start hearing him yell, motherfucker Ponder.
You know what? That happened to a game that Bill and I were playing. And I think Keith was in goal in the YouTube chat. He was our goalie, my brother. And and someone on the bench said something about Keith having a shutout. And Bill was on the rink. And then we allowed a goal like 20 seconds later. And Bill skates over and is pissed off. He goes, who the fuck said it? I was like, yeah, that happened.
Yeah. I would be surprised if it happened more than once.
Yeah, and some guys don't care about the superstition. Others get pissed. It's a funny thing to watch happen. Actually, watch it play out. The Blues have stolen home ice advantage. Outshot the Sharks. Outshot the Blues 26-25 in Game 2. The Blues are now 6-2 on the road in the playoffs. Now they have scored the most goals of any playoff team left in the playoffs with 26. Most road goals. 0-5 on the power play in this game. 0-4 in the series. 0-6 so far. It'd be nice if in Game 3 they were to get the power play going, and they were negative on the power play because of the shorty. So
right. So yeah, I think the Blues should take full advantage of having home ice and getting the better matchup against Couture. So I think that's got to be key. Like, you've got to get your shutdown guys. You've got to get Parayko out against Couture, and not Petro. I mean, I
agree.
And so if they can take advantage of that, I think that's their best shot at winning Game 3. But I'm kind of expecting a loss tomorrow night.
Keith says in the YouTube chat, I don't play with Bill anymore. Puck to the face. 20 years ago this November.
You weren't playing goal that night, Keith.
No, he wasn't playing goal. He was playing with a broom ball helmet on.
Right. And it was a deflection. It wasn't a straight shot.
And it went in too.
It did.
You scored, Keith. Oh, Keith was playing D, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was. I scored.
You scored.
I scored off Keith's face.
Oh God, that was nasty. That was one of the worst.
Guys. You guys want to hear little statistics on Blues all-time goalie stats in the playoffs?
Yes.
Well, let me tell you, folks, we always joke about the Blues goaltending history here. Jordan Binnington is now tied for 9th in all-time wins in the playoffs for the Blues. Also tied with Jake Allen.
In a single series. In a single series. A single playoff series.
No, all time.
Right. 9th overall all time in playoff wins.
I thought it was just this. I thought it was in a season.
This is all time.
Okay.
He hasn't
I'm looking at
the point.
Okay.
This year alone.
I thought it was this year alone. That he tied the record for 9 wins because Elliott had 9 wins. We went in 16.
Yeah, that's okay. You're reading a completely different statistic than me.
Okay,
I'm saying that all-time wins in the playoffs, the leader right now is Mike Liut and Greg Millen. Both have 17. You're talking about most wins in a playoff, and he has tied other goalies for the record for the Blues. I'm talking all-time. So every playoff year that they've played, he is 9th.
So he's pointing out how futile.
Oh, he's 9th. Okay. So he's 9th in terms of wins total.
Yes, total wins.
I was reading the stat. This was his 9th win this playoff season, which ties him for the most wins in a playoff season for the Blues. That's why I thought you were saying the same thing because I saw the 9th. No, my mistake. I apologize.
I knew you were getting that. That's why I brought this up. So yeah, he is 9th. And you guys want to take any shots to who's got more than him besides Liut and Millen, who I already named?
Brent Johnson.
Brent Johnson is not. Brent Johnson had 5. That was that one playoff year, right?
Yeah, we beat the Hawks in 5.
Yep.
That year.
Roman Turek.
Roman Turek is number 7 with 12, actually tied for 6th. I'll just list off real quick because I know this could go on forever. Curtis Joseph was 3rd with 16. Brian Elliott, Elliott's 5th. Grant Fuhr is 4th. Glenn Hall is tied for 6th with Roman Turek and Jacques Plante with 12. And then that's when you get into Allen, Riendo, and Binnington. All with 9.
Yeah.
Interesting. It's just funny that this kid's a rookie, and he is already, if he wins, he is in sole possession of 9th if he wins one more game.
If he wins one more game, he's in sole possession of the most wins in a playoff season for the Blues.
Yeah.
Which is nuts, too.
Oh, good Lord.
He also set the Blues playoff season record for road wins in the playoffs with 6. And he has 6th road wins in a playoff series, ties the 3rd most in NHL history by a rookie. Hextall has 8, Murray 7, and Boucher 6.
Oh, that year with Boucher, wasn't that with the Flyers?
I believe so. Pietrangelo records his 12th point this playoff season, last in Game 2. Pietrangelo ties the Blues playoff season franchise record for points by a defenseman. So as much crap as we give him, he's putting up points.
Yeah. We saw the replay of the Sundqvist goal, and it was a nice speed past this team.
And like I said, he does make a lot of good plays.
But makes a lot of
it's the bonehead stuff that gets sprinkled in too much.
Yeah.
It's like you shouldn't be doing. I mean, that's just like and that's why I don't trust him out there on the point in the power play, or that's Parayko to me is he's not perfect either, but nobody's perfect. But he's faster. He's more skilled with the puck. He's just a
better shot. I mean,
much better shot.
The 2 shots he rang off the post, just little wrist shots that he got through. Keep doing that. You're gonna score.
He has much better offensive instincts.
Yeah.
He's just he can recover.
Right.
He would have caught Couture.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I just don't.
I bitched about this like a couple episodes ago, but I'm gonna say it again. The thing about Pietrangelo that drives me nuts is when they're hemmed in their own zone, and he just gets the puck, turns and fires it out. Now listen, I get it, especially if the Sharks have a lot of pressure, get the puck out, that's fine. But constantly you see these other players just lift it to center so that way they can get a line change. Pietrangelo just shoots it out as hard as he can. And sometimes there's nobody even on him. It's like, dude, just look up. Sometimes you have the time to make the play. I guarantee there are people on his team telling him, Binnington or whoever is out there with them, are probably saying, time, like we all do as players. And he's just firing it out and causing so many icings. It's frustrating to watch.
What I look for in Game 3 is for the Blues to exit their zone much more efficiently.
Yes.
Because I think if you just keep doing that, and it burned them in Game 1, it didn't really burn them in Game 2. But they too many times where they've got the puck on their stick and they have an opportunity to get it out, and they don't. They're looking to either carry it or make a pass, like a short 6-foot, 10-foot pass inside the zone still, and they don't. And it misfires, gets intercepted, whatever, and they can't clear the zone. That happens way too much. Yeah. Way too much. If your first option isn't there, get it out. And then worry about getting it back later. Right. Don't dick around with it.
Don't fret over an icing call.
Right. No, I agree. Especially when you've been in the zone for a little while and you need to get it out, get it out. Don't. If you can pass it out, great. But better be sure. Be sure if you're going to pass it in your own zone when you're exiting that it's going to be a good pass. It's going to connect or not be intercepted. It just that has been a huge. I was yelling at my TV in Game 2 when they did that in Game 1, and it happens way too much. And I think in Game 3, if they can just simply fix that issue, I love our chances in Game 3. I think that's a huge part of the problem for me.
It's funny that this is the conversation on the heels of what I just talked about, but yes, I agree with you that they so many times they just fluff the puck. They'll just try to make this little short pass and they either whiff or it's intercepted. Yeah, they first priority, especially against an offensively juggernaut team like the San Jose Sharks, is you got to clear the zone, get it out of there.
And maybe, put a shoulder into Couture's jaw. That'd be nice. Yeah, I mean, cleanly. But not the principal point of contact. But
right. Don't use them all up, though. In case we get through, you need one of those for Marchand.
Oh, man. And that's going to be, it's probably going to be Bruins in the final. So if it's Blues and Bruins, they can avenge the Oracle. Finally.
They can. And the way that it's worked so far, so Columbus swept the Islanders and then were swept out in the second round.
So the Bruins sweep
the Hurricanes sweep the Hurricanes,
and then they get swept out. Maybe they'll have too much rest.
Yeah,
and then they'll be
that whoever faces the Bruins, that's what they could hope at this point.
I mean, if they sweep them and this series goes along, and they started. They
had the first game, right?
They started after us.
Yeah, they had there was a day off in between.
Yeah,
our first and
they started before
first
us.
Game in our.
They started before us, and there was a day, so and they could be done way before we're done.
Yeah, so they could get rusty.
Yeah, that's
Pasternak could go to Duncan too many times.
Yeah. Did you guys see Bergeron
you missed some calls.
Bergeron got lit up in this game tonight. He, man, I don't remember who it was that hit him, but I thought, whoo, that guy's too old to be taking hits like that.
And it looked like Wagner might have had some kind of significant injury blocking a shot after he scored his goal tonight.
There's there was some, what's the word I'm looking for? A rustling,
Chatter?
some chatter on social media today about Pete Blackburn, Bruins covers the Bruins for the NHL. About he's selling a Play Gloria shirt for the Bruins.
Whatever.
I'm like, what is that about? And I'm like, why? What? That doesn't make any sense. So he's trolling is what he's doing, but it's funny because he's selling a shirt. He's selling a Play Gloria shirt for the Bruins on some site that I'm not going to advertise, but his pinned tweet. I don't know the guy, but his pinned tweet says, "An important reminder for the playoffs. If I say anything negative about your favorite team, it is 100% because I am biased and I hate them. I also hate you, your family's pets, and your stupid fucking face." He's a reporter, right, Jeff?
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, he's a verified on Twitter reporter, covers the NHL and the Bruins. So, yeah, he's trolling, and tons of Blues fans got in line. That was so weird.
Yeah.
And
it's very small, but there is a small faction of Bruins fans that are kind of running with this, especially after tonight's game. If you just type in Bruins Gloria, there's a lot of Bruins fans that are posting Play Gloria, Bruins win.
I on Google I searched for Play Gloria Bruins, and I found nothing today. Not a single thing.
Jeff's got a better Google than you.
There's another. I don't know if it has anything to do with.
There's another Google.
Blackburn. It's called Big.
No, there's another. I don't know if it has anything to do with Blackburn or not, but they're called Listen to Brunch. I know they had said a couple days ago that Gloria should be the Bruins' playoff song because they're going to win it all. So of course it should be their song.
What does that even mean? They want to use a song that's being used by the team because they're going to win it all.
I don't.
That doesn't make any sense to me. That doesn't make it. I don't understand that. Get a song if you want a song that someone else isn't using and use that one. Why do you have to use someone else's song? I get that you're trolling, wanting to steal someone else's song. That's such a Boston fucking thing to do too.
Well, no, that's what I said. Definitely a Boston thing.
Yeah, there's assholes. Like a very small group of people. Because I saw this, I'm like, well, how widespread is this? Because they were talking about the two guys no cup said, well, there's some people that are running with it. I'm like, really? I had never heard it before. So I searched, found nothing on it. And
it's all on social media.
I searched Play Gloria, Boston Bruins, and every single thing that came out, the first few pages of Google was all Blues stuff. It was all Blues.
I don't know. If you're gonna co-opt it, at least get the Dropkick Murphys to sing it.
Yeah.
Do a cover of it.
Yeah.
But God, yeah.
Boy, I'd be pissed.
I guess they're just mad because they don't have a song. Maybe they don't have one.
Yeah, like there's a tweet right here. I hope they use Gloria as the intro to the Bruins championship DVD. I mean, there is a bunch of people getting on board with it, but God, Bruins fans, Boston is the worst.
Boston is the worst. It's a sense of entitlement there. It's just kind of crazy.
And did you hear that Robert Kraft is getting off after he got off?
Is he getting off really?
Yeah.
That doesn't surprise me.
They got the prosecutor to drop the charges because they didn't redact or they didn't cover up the they violated the privacy of the other patrons of that establishment. And so they got the charges start getting thrown out.
I had no
justice. Justice means how much money you got.
Yeah, and something like that too. He didn't kill somebody, so it's something like that. That money's going to buy his way out of that. That's not a violent crime. It's not a
right.
I don't think. Community service. Time served.
But still, he should be disgraced.
Oh yeah, no, I agree, and he will be during the season. Oh, the fans are going to get the opposing teams to.
I doubt it. I think it's all blown over by the time.
Oh, maybe.
Some comes back around.
Unless he goes to Philadelphia and they play Philly this year. Yeah. They'll let him have it. Fucking Boston. Whatever. It's gonna be sweet revenge to play Gloria when the Blues beat Boston. And
I'm looking at a tweet here. This is the first one I saw. This was on May 9th, and it was from the two guys from this podcast, I guess, that are Bruins or Boston sports based. I don't know. It says, we are inspired by the St. Louis Blues to find a rally song for the Bruins' playoff run. I think we nailed our choice. And they have a video of them explaining why Gloria should be the Bruins' new playoff song.
The birthplace of Gloria is that town, that bar, right? That the Blues
in South Jersey.
Yeah. That's the
Philadelphia.
It's South Jersey.
Okay.
Same thing.
That's the birthplace of the song. That's what we're told, right?
Right.
And that's where the Blues were at when they decided they wanted to use that song after that one game, and that just kind of snowballed. And the bar is all about the Blues, and they're. I mean, that's that. It's almost like that area, that bar owns the song, and they're like, yes, we're behind the Blues. It's kind of a weirdly pathetic thing to try and, as a Bruins fan, to try and use the song. You know what I mean? It's just, I don't know. It's funny.
Why co-opt that?
Why what?
Why co-opt that song?
I know. Yeah. Why there's a billion songs out there that you can, and it's just, I guess they thought it'd be funny to just try and steal the song.
The thing that got me is that
they're going to try and steal it.
When this happened, May 9th was, like I said, the first time I saw mention of this. There's so much hockey left in the conference final. Why are you already trolling the Blues? Like, if they sweep the Canes here and in 2 days they start doing the Gloria stuff, okay. I would laugh about it a little bit more than I am now. But I mean, to do it so soon, like, it made me just say, God, I hope the Hurricanes just knock them out.
You know what, though? I bet you they don't care if the Blues make the finals or not.
Yeah.
They're going to take it. They're going to try and take it regardless. And they'd have a lot easier time doing it if the Blues don't make the final, because the song won't be played for the Blues anymore, and they'll just start playing it. And no one's going to, you know what? If the team's not playing it in the locker room, it ain't their song. If they're not playing it in the arena, it ain't their song. A handful of fans or a podcaster or whoever is not going to get that started. It's not going to happen. That's not the same. It's weird. It's just weird.
I don't know. It's just, I don't know. We've talked way too much about it already.
We have.
Yeah. There's still so much hockey to be played.
There is a hockey to play. But the Bruins are going probably to the final, so we just got to get there. I don't. You guys got anything else? I do not.
Yeah. Nope. Or that much.
I usually do, and I'm trying to think of another way to extend this show and piss Kurt off, but I can't think of any.
Oh, good. Well, I guess that'll do it for this week's show.
All right, so we already talked about Game 3 here in St. Louis, and then Game 4. We should probably mention, for those that haven't seen it, Game 5, the watch party at Enterprise.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I just saw it
Sunday
today.
Afternoon, 2:00.
Yep.
Yeah, I will consider going to
It's Sunday at 2?
Yeah.
I don't know. I might be able to make that. We'll see.
I may.
Yeah.
For those that haven't seen that, Blues are open up the doors to Enterprise Center for Game 5.
Well, they're charging. It's
$10.
$10 per fan, $5 for season ticket holders.
Yeah. I thought that was pretty cool. I said that after after Maroon's OT goal. I'm like, man, why don't they open up Enterprise? That would be a good way for them to make money, and I'm glad they're doing it.
Do they, at Ballpark Village, the little field, the baseball field next to it, the AstroTurf thing that with the big screen? Do they play Blues games there with the people outside to watch it? They should. They don't.
I don't think they do. That would be good.
That'll do it for this week's show. For Jeff Ponder and Bill Day, I'm Kurt Price. That will conclude this week's broadcast of Let's Go Blues Radio. Until next time, everyone, let's go Blues.
Let's go play Gloria.
Let's play Gloria. Fuck the Bruins. Let's go Blues.
The Chiefs are at home tonight against Cyanosport at the War Memorial at 8. Good seats are still available. A look at fourth. I think that went very well.
Thank you for listening to Let's Go Blues Radio. Now take off, hosers.
Well, there's 90 minutes of your life you'll never get back. Sorry.
St. Louis Blues, St. Louis Blues. Have you heard the news about our St. Louis Blues? They've only just begun, they're on their way to number one. Now there's no more blues for our St. Louis Blues. The Blues are on the ice tonight again.